Thank you very much for watching Punchline Africa Television. Thank you very much across the continent of Africa. This is Diplomatic Leaks Show, brought to you by Dr. David Matanga and Miriam Ogutu in the headquarters, plus our correspondent, Gladwell Kiragu in Nairobi, Kenya. Miriam in Nairobi, Kenya headquarters. Thank you very much. Good morning.
Edok, a very good morning to you.
Yeah, go ahead.
Good morning to you, and good morning to Gladwell and our viewers, wherever they're watching us from today.
Thank you very much, Gladwell. Test the microphone. Also, greet our viewers.
A very good morning to our viewers. Good morning to Dr. David Matsanga, and good morning to Miriam.
Thank you very much, viewers. This is a Diplomatic Leaks show. We look at the areas of diplomacy. We look at what diplomats are doing, are saying behind the scenes. What do they mean for Africa? What do they do when we don't know? What goes on when we don't know? When good African governments are working, there is something also not working. So what is the seriousness of the matter that we want to look at right now? Diplomatic Leaks looks at this show. The link should be following. I haven't seen the link, Miriam. Therefore, we need that link to give to our viewers. And if you want to join us later on. Pick our YouTube, our Instagram, our everything is working. And our satellite will beam it across the world. Don't worry about who is seeing, but the satellite has given to us our voices run across the world, Miriam. Somebody was yesterday or 2 days ago, a week, in Dubai. And this person came back, a very senior person came back and said, Allah, we were in Dubai and we went out for an outing. And the Kenyan people, African people, picked out our TV and on the telephone and said, can you look at this link? It is telling us about Africa. So Miriam, you are not only in Kenya, that the face is not seen in Kenya, it's seen worldwide. Thank you very much. Today's topic is Adaka forces hovering over Africa. We shall use case study Zambia. A few weeks ago, the Americans opened the headquarters of AFCOM in Southern Africa. They based it in Lusaka, Zambia. I would like us to listen to this gentleman before I do the takeaway. Cue in the clip is a Zambian leader of the Socialist Party, one of the parties that actually took part in elections, and it came almost number 2 is the Zambia Socialist Party. Let's look and hear what he says about what is happening in Zambia.
This is the pro-imperialist government we have in Zambia today. This is the most reactionary government we have ever had in the history of this country. You cannot compare it with any other government in terms of being pro-imperialist. This is a pro-imperialist government. This is an imperialist puppet government. These are imperialist lackeys. That's why AFRICOM is coming today to set an office. They could not do it in the previous government. They could not do it. This is the government for transnational corporations. This is the government for imperialist interests. This is the most reactionary government this country has ever had. This is the government that is betraying, that has betrayed our whole independence struggle. It's giving away what our people died for. It's giving away to the imperialists what our people died for, what our Angolan ancestors died for.
Very much welcome to the show. You have heard what the Zambian leader of a socialist party has said. He says this is one of the most confusing government that they have ever had since independence. Miriam, do you buy the idea?
I don't know if his sentiments hold some water, but I'm sure they're coming from a certain place and perspective over, I think, the coming of AFCOM into the country, which he says AFCOM could not do that before in the previous government. So it appears Hichilema has a cordial relationship maybe with the Western powers. I think that is what he's trying to imply there. But also as we look at that, we must also recognize how the opposition in Africa behaves sometimes, okay? They are not there to offer a lot of times. A few of them do their job, but a lot of times they're not there to offer, constructive criticism or offer alternative solutions to what is the problem, in the country, but they're just there to fight and fight and fight. And as we were looking at the earlier, conversation, Doc, when we were looking at the issue of the lack of the social contract and the lack of patriotism, which I think is the major problem we do have, even in our own politics. We as long as I don't agree with you, you're on the other side, I don't care what you're doing. I'll just fight you, even if whatever you're doing is benefiting me, but I'll just fight you, just because you're either in power or you're in your position. And so I don't know if it's too early to judge Hichilema. Of course, he came to power last year, maybe not too early, but it's interesting to know perhaps the context of this conversation.
Okay, thank you very much. You are right there. And let me hear I will come and analyze what you have said. It depends on who is speaking from what corner. But the truth lies that Zambia is under the hammer. China, France, the French are standing in for the debt. They are standing in for the debt. They have created a committee, Miriam, that will write off the debt of $36 billion. And who is standing in for this? Is it why HH decided to switch sides and bring in America so that they could help him to ease the loan-wanting guys who have created the situation in Sri Lanka worse? You can see the people in Sri Lanka on the streets. They are killing almost literally everything. Cameramen, what they are throwing them in the river. So, is it the right decision to do to bring in AFCOM? Is he under lock key of the Americans? Is he switching sides from the Chinese to Americans in order to save his country? Let's hear from Gladwell Kiraga. Gladwell? Oh, she seemed to have gone. Okay. Let me do my takeaway. And believe me or not, Miriam, Africa is a very interesting continent. The darker forces that I talked about are about to settle. Thank you very much, viewers. A few months ago, after the collapse of Afghanistan, the Americans' policy in Afghanistan collapsed, and the hurried departure of Americans, leaving behind hundreds and millions of Afghanistan yearning their defense, security, and looking forward to protection. created another problem for Africa. A few months ago, I wrote an article saying there was a danger of planes hovering and Americans and Italians and other people hovering to dump the problem of Afghanistan on Africa. It did not take long before the war in other parts of Africa became worse. Ethiopia was on fire. It started, it increased. Then we had Mozambique was on fire with rebels of Al-Shabaab and other ISIS elements disrupting the region of Southern Africa. But then what has shocked the world and most of SADC nations of South African Development Organization, SADC Corporation, is the setting up of AFCOM offices. Previously, AFCOM was in Djibouti. It closed their offices and they were looking for somewhere else to go. They came and approached Kenya and they said they want, Kenyans said, I think we have a lot of our own bases with you. It is not possible. The commander of AFCOM, while leaving and giving his final speech in Africa, all of you know what he was talking about. That we have not left, but we are only changing the tactics of fighting, helping Africa to fight bad governance, terrorism, removing insecurity in most of the areas. He visited all the areas in West Africa. What then has come out? They found a place in Zambia. The president of Zambia, therefore HH, agreed without consent of other SADC members to set up AFCOM Center in Lusaka. What has it got? What are the benefits of AFCOM Center in Lusaka? What is it aiming at? What does it want to achieve? Why set it in Lusaka and not in South Africa? Why set it in Lusaka and not in Mozambique where there is a war? The proximity of Zambia to Congo gives one other area why AFCOM wants to set itself in Lusaka. The proximity of Zimbabwe from Lusaka gives it another angle why AFCOM wants to set itself in Lusaka. Therefore, combination of these factors, plus factors of monetary value, of which China and Zambia are writing off a debt guaranteed by France, complicates the matter, of which neighbors of Zambia are crying and are saying there is an element of regime change being perpetrated from Zambia against the states of Zimbabwe and other South African states that might not be in good books with America. Therefore, it is very, very imperative that we understand the difficulties that Zambia finds itself, given that Zambia has given an okay to host AFCOM. There are lots of diplomatic maneuvers that are taking place behind the scenes to explain why AFCOM was allowed to set base in Zambia, in Lusaka. The late President Kaunda brought about the changes of Southern Africa through the support that he gave to liberation movements, all of them that sprang, and it was called a frontline state. The late Nyerere, the late Obote, the late Jomo Kenyatta, all of them worked towards a stable Africa, an Africa without undue influence, without any oppressive methods of how to support either America or Russia. An Africa where we need to say we are independent and we can make our own views. That was the volume, the direction of our founding fathers who have perished and left us today. The voices of Kaunda still ring in this country called Zambia. The voices of nationalism, the voices of Pan-Africanism still ring in the minds of the people. But are the governments heeding to that voice? The answer is no. We seem to be heeding to the voice of the people that today we who are in power, who have no social contract, who have a contract but we don't use it. Can Zambia object to any support given that China has taken up the copper production in country, which is the copper mines? The biggest copper mines are on the continent, on the globe, where copper is produced. They revived the factory, bought it at peanuts, but later on revived it to produce what can feed Zambia throughout their economic plans of the 10, 20 years. Is Zambia, therefore, a state, a satellite state, or is Zambia becoming a satellite state of the hovering dark forces that dismember Africa day in, day out? I leave it to you, viewers, that one day you might find out that it is or it is not. But for me, the creation of an office of AFCO in Lusaka creates instability within the region, creates instability within SADC. The SADC members seem not to be very comfortable with a base created interior. What does it serve a landlocked country to have a base of the Americans? The base usually this goes where there's water, where ships can anchor, but it will take long. We don't have a direct route to the Indian Ocean, neither a direct route to Atlantic Ocean. Is Zambia therefore being used as a satellite state? Thank you for Africa. So Miriam, there you are. We call it a day, or you have some comments? Kiragu, are you back?
Yes, I'm back, and I actually, on that one, you've nailed it very well. I have no comments.
Miriam, you have already made your comments, yes. And I'm happy. You might not be on the side, but you have some time to make your comments.
No, I have no added, comment, but
okay.
I will look up
Thank you
that information.
Thank you very much, viewers. It's 22 minutes past 11 o'clock East African Standard Time. Punchline Africa Television wants to tell you that we shall continue doing our morning shows right from 9 o'clock up to 12. Today we have caught up with time and we are ready. We shall also be bringing you music interludes, also not music interludes, but also from our radio station in the rest of the minutes while we are not on air. And then we can combine the two, and the two, we shall also be bringing you clips of the, continue watching our shows by us playing clips even when we are not on air. When we are not physically on air, we would like to see those clips play other than stopping and then coming back. I think that is the new method we are going to start up to 3 o'clock when Miriam Ogutu comes back with Diaspora Dispatches. And don't forget, tonight, there is Matanga Space. And the Matanga Space, I'm now going by the views of so many people who are saying we should do this, we should do that. We shall be bringing in those areas where Kiragu, you can be logging in and you give us the impact of that music up to the time when we find you still on the machine. No problem, isn't it? The general manager says no problem. You can always interrupt and say this music comes from this. You can create your own discussion on those interludes until you can come up at 1 o'clock and bring breaking news. You read for us items, something breaking in the market where you went this morning. That is what we want to do until then. But tonight at 7 p.m., Mathanga's space. I think, Miriam, what is the topic there again?
Okay, let me just look that up quickly so that we can remind our viewers.
Yeah, the topic is the running mate saga in Kenya. Just join Dr. Mathanga's space, open mic, just struggle for Africa. That is all. We want to discuss the Kenyan scenario with my co-host, Gladwell Kirago. If you want to join us, 7 p.m. You don't need to go too much. You just go to your Twitter and Dr. Mathanga's space. You'll find us there plenty discussing the running mate saga. Who should, why? And remember the whole topic for the whole day has been, the whole topic for the whole day, the social contract. Where did we go wrong? Where did we go wrong? Social contract. Miriam Sam did very, very well. When you grew up, you are drinking some kamilk, and you do know that this kamilk is for is from Baba Moi and the respect to Moi. But today we have no respect for our presidency. Yes, they don't respect people insult the president. People, you know, they heckle the president. You know, we have created a state of despondence, and therefore that is why things are happening like that. Thank you very much, Miriam. Thank you very much, Kiruga. That lining will start tomorrow, and it will go on from Monday. We shall be having this type of topics, quick, short, precise, and the music and other topics can be arranged. Let's say talk shows that can be arranged to bring more people on the show with TikTok and other places, isn't it? That's what we want to do until we come to the main bulletins and the main topics by 3 p.m. The station back to you, Miriam. You can close it down for us with that good voice.
Okay, thank you so much for watching. I'll see you back here at 3 p.m. with more news from across the continent. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.
Viewers and the comrades, the people, the Pan-African people of Africa, and mainly the people of Kenya. Elections in Africa create difficulties. Everywhere in Africa, you find conflicts emanating from elections. Results declared, the loser does not come out to concede. Elections, if not well managed, can trigger the worst crisis for any nation in Africa. It is therefore very prudent for the people of Kenya not to buy populist ideas and forget the hinge point of electoral reforms, electoral injustices, electoral systems, mechanisms that can change Kenya and bring a credible results of an election where the losers and the winner will agree this was a fair contest. Given that circumstances, the circumstances that surround our badly managed elections, Kenya faces this challenge. A referenda of reducing MPs to 0 does not solve your problem, because that problem of Kenya is a structural challenge. It's a structural challenge in the sense that the structures themselves give access to more money stolen, to more money hidden, to more money misappropriated by various institutions. Therefore, to have credible electoral reforms, credible electoral systems, credible electoral mechanisms will resolve 1/3 of the Kenya's problems, in that we shall have credible, proportionally elected people who represent all the views of the people of Kenya. That is my take. And that's the take of anybody who looks at the current situation, that any group that would come up and does not discuss the question of elections in Africa and in Kenya as a case study, and use it and look at how many dead bodies do we always collect when we mention the word elections. It is all over Africa. In Uganda, it is happening. In Zimbabwe, as we speak now, they are on the streets of Harare. It's because of elections. They want to come and overthrow and break down everything in Zimbabwe. It's elections. So elections in Africa create conflicts. But how can we stop violence before and after elections? Is through proportional representation of the model of South Africa, which has held elections, but there's peace on the streets of the cities. Thank you very much, viewers. Thank you very much, my people of Kenya. That's my message. I stand to be corrected, but I think it is only until you get a proportional representation system that will deliver every part of this country into your house of representation, into your elections, is when stability and tranquility will be permanent forever in this country. Thank you.